What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. This episode gonna be dedicated to this Sunday. Y'all, the Super Bowl events. And I'm not dedicating to the Super Bowl in regards to the institution of the NFL. But it was blacker than a mug over there. Every year it's a hit or miss every year. This year, it was blacker than a mug. And I loved it. This had to be the blackest Super Bowl Sunday that I have ever seen. And Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance was the blackest Super Bowl performance I've ever seen. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Let me start at the top, though, because there's so much to talk about. And the meat of this will be Brother Kendrick's performance. But let's get the other stuff out the way. Okay. First of all, this year's Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, rematch. If you watch the NFL, if you don't, they played each other before. The Chiefs won. This year, rematch. Personally, I was going for the Eagles because one, my front is from Philly and she represents, so I got to represent for her. And two, because Jalen Hurts is fine. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay. The brother's fine. Jalen Hurts is fine. Those are two good enough reasons for me. The third reason is because Patrick Mahomes, they said his wife, she be wearing the red hat. And the hat, now I can't stand for that. So I got to go with Jalen in them. And I was looking at after the fact the game and whatnot, and they were seeing videos of the Eagles celebrating. Child, everybody on the team fine. Okay, the whole team fine. So I'm going for the Eagles. Okay, fly Eagles fly. Like that what they be doing? Hey, bird flap. Go Eagles. Go birds. Whatever they be saying. But before the game even started, the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. Okay, one of the blackest cities, full of black culture. The things that everybody loves and admires about New Orleans. I saw this on social media floating around. I love the representation and the recognition. Everything you love about New Orleans is because of black people. So don't get it twisted. So New Orleans, off top, the Black National Anthem was sung by Lettucey. And let me say this, because the discourse around the Black National Anthem is getting really old and tired. Every year or every game, every time someone sings the Black National Anthem before the Star Spangled Banner, people complain and get in their feelings. And by people, y'all know there's the other demographic of people mad because there is a song that is called the Black National Anthem, which is Lift Every Voice and Sing. God, are we not reading? Like, I feel like if something happened every year, or if I get on social media or watch TV and see something I don't like and it sparks a level of racism within me, I feel like I would hope that I would open up Google and Google what is the Black National Anthem and then read. I open the schools, okay? Open them back up. But I'm also realizing after I saw some posts today when people were saying, heard Kendrick Lamar rap about 40 acres and a mule, there were people in multiple videos, comment sections, and by people, I mean, again, not white, not black people, saying that they did not know anything about 40 acres and a mule, which blew my mind because black people have been talking about reparations and been referencing 40 acres and a mule for 100 some years. And which further leads me to the point of, and the reality that when we be talking, people really just don't be listening. We can talk till we blue in the face. They do not listen. But we'll get to that in a minute. Lettucey sung the Black National Anthem. Fantastic. John Batiste, who is a New Orleans native, and I'm not sure if Lettucey is from New Orleans. If she is, shout out to her. John Batiste sung the Star Spangled Banner. Y'all know he gonna jazz it up, made it and make it real funky, which was good. But even before all of that, the NFL pre-show had local New Orleans artists and bands, musicians, and it had the Southern University's marching band. Love to see it. Okay, y'all know how I feel about me some HBCUs and some bands. They did a really good job. Their dancers were showcased. It was just a fun time. And also over the weekend, I was seeing posts all across social media. I believe Master P was charged with curating the entertainment for Super Bowl weekend. Child, they had concerts, gathering, all kind of stuff happening. So it seemed like it was a good old time, which is great because New Orleans is the city, is that type of city built for that. They experienced some tough times a few weeks ago with that terrorist attack that happened in on Bourbon Street or around um the French Quarter. So this was a good opportunity to just provide some fun and some activities. And also, it's nice when events like this are in cities where it's not freezing cold because you had a you had Super Bowl, NBA also weekend in these freezing cold areas. It's not a good time. Okay, it is not a good time. Don't nobody got time to be freezing to have fun. And maybe I'm just biased because I just can't do the cold. It'd be too cold, y'all. It just be too cold. But it was great. It seemed like it was a great weekend. But then the game happened and y'all's president attended. It was booing his ass. Hey, that's what you get. But the Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. And I mentioned Jalen Hurts a little bit earlier. Shout out to him. Listen, Jalen Hurts won. He is the youngest old man I've ever seen. His quotes, his musical taste. His favorite album is Frankie Beverly and Maze live from New Orleans. He showed up a couple weeks ago in a Kangol. They showed him riding the Disney float today after they won the Super Bowl. He had on another Kangol. This man has a Crown Royal bag. Okay, he got loose change in his pocket. I know he does. He is the youngest old man ever. You know they say he look like Shamar Moore. He's act like he old enough to be Shamar Moore daddy. And low key, same age as Shamar, because Shamar is like 50 something. Okay, don't get it twisted. But Jalen Hurts is the bros. Jalen Hurts' is fiance, beautiful black woman. She is the Stinky Pinky. Jalen Hurts has an all-female team from communications, PR, management, you name it, all women. And, he just seemed like a really nice guy. So I'm happy for the Eagles. I'm happy for the Eagles fans. And I'm also happy that they beat the team who be having them red hat supporters. Hey, I can't stand for it. All right. I know they hidden in plain sight all over the place. But in this case, ha ha, that's what you get. Now, will I be an Eagles fan moving forward? I'm not necessarily. Y'all know how I feel about the NFL. Okay. I'm both feet damn near out the door. I watch when it's convenient and I understand people love the sport and people who play the sport play because they love it and they got to do what they got to do. So I'll still be a fair weather fan that has the same feelings that I have always had about the National Football League. But it was a good time. The Chiefs won. It was a blowout. It wasn't a blowout, but it wasn't as close as people thought. And the Eagles won. Okay, the Eagles won. So did I say the Chiefs won earlier? Y'all know what I meant. The Eagles won. So with that, did you all watch the game? And is that why you were tuned in? Or were you tuned in for what I consider the main event, which is the Kendrick Lamar concert, which we're going to get into right now? Let me know. Hit me up and let me know your thoughts. You can find me at Canelia on social media. Kendrick Lamar was chosen to perform at this year's Super Bowl. And initially, people had a lot to say, right? Y'all remember when it was first announced, people was complaining, saying that the New Orleans artist should perform Little Wayne, where's the cash money? You name it. If somebody's from New Orleans, they said they should have performed. But Kendrick Lamar was the person that was chosen. He had a really big year. He has lots of hits, great performer, breath control out of this world because people don't realize how hard it is to move around on stage and rap without a backing track. But again, he was chosen and personally, and I feel like I speak for a lot of people who watched, that was the perfect choice. And he put on a fantastic performance. I've already watched that Super Bowl halftime show at least 10 times, and I'm not exaggerating. Soup, oh my, like, and it's so overwhelming for me to even prepare to try to talk about this because it was so much. It was so much. I will start by saying this is highbrow art. When we talk about art, and when you think about the Nina Simone quote that says, an artist's duty is to reflect the times. This is what she's talking about. This was highbrow art in the form of visual representation, visual art, uh, poetry, rap, music, you name it. This was, I feel like, one of the most involved pieces we've seen in a long time. And it's just the fact that he picked the Super Bowl to do this when usually people expect you, because people was on online complaining, expect you to just do a greatest hits and some nostalgia records so people can dance. No, baby, we are in a revolution. It is not time to dance. We can dance down at these other concerts that's happening or these other activities, but he used that moment to shine a light on Black people, the Black experience, Black culture in America. 10 out of 10 chef's kiss. It was fantastic. I'm also realizing, and not to be funny, but to be kind of be funny a little bit, I see why some people and how they be getting D's in African American studies, in African American literature, because some of these perspectives and these takes that I've been seeing, child, missed the mark. D plus. Okay, being generous. Give you a D plus because some schools you can need a D to pass. You barely got made it out. I ain't gonna flunk you, but D plus. And throughout this conversation, I will say I am going to reference some posts that I saw on social media throughout the day because some people articulated all of this so well. I mean, y'all, masterclass. So much so, this made me want to create Black dope art. Like, I'm so inspired. Y'all remember a couple years ago when High on the Hall came out on Netflix? And after seeing that, I was so moved and I wanted to make, that's the kind of, like, I want to make things like that that make you think and challenges us and shines a light on the Black experience and shows Black culture and all of its beauty. That's how I felt after watching this. So I'm going to just point out some things that have been decoded. Because one thing about Kendrick Lamar, he gonna put some messages in here. If you look at all of his live performances that have been televised, even people were saying some of his concerts, I've never seen him perform live. He gonna have a message, and child, he gave it to us. So first of all, his usage of Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, which a lot of people have been saying was a representation of a form of an Uncle Tom. People were also pointing to his character in Django, but to me, it didn't even got to go that far. You can if you want to make that correlation. But it was, to me, a representation of Uncle Sam being this figure within American culture and society that is telling Black people how they should behave and what they should be doing. And a lot of times it is an older figure that is, you know, trying to, they think they're guiding people, but it's also um, trying to push Black people and have them conform towards the white gaze. Also, why we be saying his name Samuel? Like his name is Samuel L. Jackson. Child, you asked me what his name is, Samuel. Anyway, I will play in a little bit all of Samuel's moments within the halftime performance because it nicely tied each act and all of the sets of songs together, and it really told a story. But that was a genius move because, again, this halftime show, from my perspective, it talked about the Black experience and how essentially we are being put into this game, and used as pawns for the benefits of America, even though America was built on our backs. But we'll get into that. Kendrick Lamar starts, and he is standing on top of a GNX, Buick GNX, which is the title of his current album that's out, which is also where the majority of the songs for this halftime performance came from. Loved it because, again, it just wasn't a bunch of nostalgia hits. It was current current music. But single strobe light, rapping intro or freestyle that is, I believe it's unreleased. If it's released, I'm not sure where it came from. But towards the end of that rap, the first part, he said, "The revolution is about to be televised. You picked the right time, but you picked the wrong guy." And as soon as he said that, and them doors of the GNX and the trunk popped up, and people started dumping out with the red, white, and blue tracksuits on, I immediately said, "Oh, he about to say something." The minute a Black person uses the American flag colors, you can pretty much guarantee that they got something to say. Okay. So as soon as he started dumping out, I knew what time it was, and I could not wait. They pour out, they do songs. I'll get into the song list. But at one point, they were standing on stairs, all of the Black men in the American flag colors situated as the American flag, which was separated. Kendrick Lamar was standing in between it. They were dancing all in sync while he was rapping Humble. Symbolism within there, okay? After Samuel L. Jackson said what he said, to me, them being in sync and following directions with the song Humble being rapped pretty much signaled what America is telling Black people to do. He goes into other songs, DNA, I got loyalty and royalty inside my DNA, another message that led to a set that looked like it was a prison yard because y'all know Black people, this, whether we like it or not, one of the major plots put upon Black people in this country has been the prison industrial complex. We are over policed. We are incarcerated at higher numbers than anyone else, starting back from right after enslavement, when they put in Black codes, or if you would get arrested if you didn't have a job, even though there was no work and people weren't hiring Black people. If you didn't step off the curb for a white person, that would put you in jail, which would then, those prisoners would be used to replace the lost slave labor due to the freeing of the enslaved Black Americans. But all within that, we saw other nuggets and visual aspects of this performance. The stages were situated like a game console. You had an X, a square, a circle, and a triangle. The gamers were online saying and talking about what those different sections were lit up as game codes. That's I can't get into the gaming. Okay, I love what he did, but when people were talking about the codes, I'm like, child, I ain't played games since my Sega Genesis. Okay, Sonic 2. I don't know the code. Flashing lights at the top, warning wrong way when Kendrick was rapping to signal Black people were going in the wrong direction. You had them inside the X, which looked like it was like a Squid Game, and people were analyzing that. We had a SZA moment where she comes out and performs the nice songs because there was a point in time where Samuel L. Jackson's character, Uncle Sam, was pushing Kendrick to talk nicely or to conform to the white gaze. SZA wraps up. Kendrick Lamar was playing throughout the time and T's Not Like Us. He finally did Not Like Us. And Chow called out the Canadian boy straight to camera. I was wondering, I knew he was going to do the song. I was wondering if he was going to do certain sections of the song that did not go there. But Chow, he went all the way there. And when I tell you, mouth was agape. I was shocked. Were y'all shocked about that? I was shocked. I had a good time, but I was completely shocked. He then continues on, does TV off, mustard came out, fun time, more messaging within that. And at the end, wrapped it up, the lights in the crowd, game over. One thing that was missed and is not going to be in some of the breakdowns that I'm going to read and go through. We saw all of the dancers wearing red, white, and blue, which was also the flag colors, but Crip and blood colors, because y'all know Kendrick about him some West Coast unity. You saw that at Gangchella, okay? We're holding the bandana flag, the tie bandanas together. We gonna hold it up. There were also a group of dancers who were in all black, who were outside, standing outside the prison yard set and outside of the game console, which some people were saying, and which I kind of agree with and see it, because I didn't notice them at first. They were saying that represents Black people who are outside of the system and who are not playing the game and who are rebellious and anti establishment and everything that's going on, which is true. You have within the elements that he showed, you have people who are institutionalized, you people have rebellious, you have people who are playing the game, going in the right and wrong direction, different circles with different action codes based on the game console or the joysticks. But you also have people who are outside of it. To the point where at one point y'all saw there was a protester who was holding up a sign that said Sudan and Gaza. Personally, I feel like that was a part of his performance and a part of the staging. The person was running around and finally got tackled and dragged off the field towards the end of the performance. But if Kendrick's messaging and everything that he did during that performance was about Black people within American society, and you have the people in the game, the people outside of the game, the agitators, and the people who follow along and follow direction and marching orders in a straight line, why wouldn't there be someone within the outsiders and the agitators there to hold up a flag that says Sudan and Gaza? Because that is literally a part of our story as Black people. You have that one person or that group of people who are standing up for other people. So again, I haven't seen reports about who that person was, if they got arrested or not. But once I realized there was a whole other group, a part of his performance that were outsiders, I immediately was like, that person, that I feel like he did that on purpose. But let's go a little deeper into all of it. First, let me play y'all all of the clips of Samuel L. Jackson speaking and weaving the performance together. Now, again, he was playing the Uncle Sam character, and y'all saw this. A lot of people didn't catch some of what he was saying, but there were a couple particular moments that really hit me in the chest. And one in particular when he said, deduct one life. So let me play this little snippet and then we'll talk about it and move on to the next.
It's your uncle, Sam. And this is the great American game. Oh, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up. Oh, see, you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct one life. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't mess this. Oh no. It's a cultural divide.
Y'all can see each snippet had things going between too loud, too ghetto. That's what America likes. the part about bringing your homeboys along, deduct one life. All of this is so specific to the Black American experience. We are deemed too loud, too uncultured. That's when he went into be humble. Then it was the part about deduct one life. You want to bring your homeboys along, deduct one life. What happens whenever we try to congregate or group up or do anything in a unit? They try to chip away at us. They try to break us up. Look what they did with Martin and Malcolm. Killed the leaders. You bring your homeboy, you trying to bring people along, you're done. You out. Somebody gotta go. The part where he says that's what kind of insinuating that's what America wants. That's when they went into the soft songs with SZA. And they played one of my favorite Kendrick songs, All the Stars. Y'all know I love that song. I be getting emotional because I think about Chadwick Boseman. But then they get going to Not Like Us and TV Off. So Kendrick using Samuel L. Jackson, who was a revolutionary figure within his youth at Morehouse College himself, because we were reminded after this that when Samuel L. Jackson was a student at Morehouse, he held school administrators, including Martin Luther King Jr.'s father, hostage in protest. Okay, so knowing who Samuel Jackson is and using him as that figure, genius. Y'all know Kendrick got that Pulitzer, genius. Whoever on his team who helped him design this and think of this, probably Dave Free, PG Lang, all them, genius. But the next thing I want to do is read something, because this really is one of the things that breaks all of this down really beautifully. Okay, and I'm gonna read a couple of things. One is really long, but I'm gonna start with one of the short ones. And this is someone named According to Jose on Threads. Kendrick was strategic. He called out the government in front of the sitting president, performed without cursing, and delivered a message about America's racial climate. This wasn't just a performance, it was a statement while involving the culture. And Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, brilliant. That performance said if they talk about us, they have to talk about our history, intelligence, and the truth. If you missed the message because it wasn't fun for you, that's on you. And again, highbrow art. But let me read this other one. Now, this one was really, really long, so I'm going to try to zip through it, but it essentially breaks down a lot of it. Now, some of it I might skip because it was just so much, but this really puts it into perspective. And also, before I read this, adding Serena Williams was a part of this. And I see a lot of people, there was a lot of discourse, especially on sports talk shows and radio and media, about people saying, this she's a married woman. Why is she dancing and crip walking to a diss song about her ex? Baby, there's so much more than this. That's why, listen, people need to sit on stuff before they go talking. And I'm not saying I'm getting everything right, but to not put together, not to think there was more to Serena Williams being there is just crazy. One, Serena Williams is from Compton. And she was the beacon of hope and light for the city of Compton. It's a lot of people from Compton, but what Venus and Serena did for that city was unheard of, especially for little Black girls. They broke barriers and became the best tennis players in the world, period. But also, Serena Williams was highly criticized when she was crip walking after she won the Wimbledon that one year. They tore her up. They dragged her for months and for years about that moment. So it is probably something that she has had to deal with from then until now. Now she's a grown woman, wife, mother of two. So she feel like she can crip walk at the Super Bowl performance from the best rapper from Compton on the world's biggest stage to get her lick back. She sure can. But then also, sure, it was a diss record about Drake because he sat up there at some point and was talking crazy about her and her husband. So it's different levels to that. But let me read this because it was pretty good. Someone named Kamara Williams, and I believe this was from Facebook, but when I caught it, it was on, I believe, Threads as well. It says, Kendrick told the story of black male unadulterated authenticity. The iconography alone was brilliant. Black men in do-rags, black men in formation of the American flag, black men in dreads and gold singing doo-wop, black men not presented in a safe lens. Samuel L. Jackson, aka Uncle Sam, the ringmaster, it was at that moment the characters were set. Samuel represents the safe, performative, docile Negro. He's pleased with him to, oh, sorry, he's pleading with him to make white America comfortable. Kendrick is clearly the antithesis of this. And if I be pronouncing these wrong, y'all forgive me. I'm tired and I'm trying to hurry up and get through this. Y'all know what I mean. Kendrick is clearly a defiant mood and performs Squabble Up. Uncle Sam responds by screaming at him to stop being so loud and ghetto. Kendrick responds by playing humble. Be humble, sit down. It's noticeable that black men are the American flag as he performs this. And let me add in there, they were performing in unison, following instruction. She goes on to say, then he remembers himself, plays DNA, royalty and loyalty in my DNA. This is when the crowd lights up with the message, warning, wrong way. Then he plays Euphoria, cries out, I'm reaping what I sow, okay? Transitioning into Man in the Garden, where he recites how he deserves it all, the success and the criticism that comes with it. In the midst of it all, to remain authentic, hence why Samuel L. Jackson says, oh, I see you brought your homeboys with you. Scorekeeper deduct one life. KDot then leans into album favorite Peekaboo. I think it's important to know the line that embodies that song, what they're talking about nothing. At this point, he ushers in SZA and embarks on what Uncle Sam lauded him for performing nice and easy. This is what America wants to see. Kendrick smiles at the camera and plays the controversial song that garnered him acclaim with Record and Song of the Year. So the question is, isn't this what America wanted? Not Like Us is performed, including the verse that has ruined Drake's entire life. He then ends with TV off, with the message being game over. Essentially telling us the game that is he was expected to play is over. He didn't do what was expected, and yet he sort of did. He literally told us before Not Like Us was performed that this is bigger than music. And I had people on the timeline arguing about this music. Truth be told, this performance may not be everyone's cup of tea. That's okay. I believe a message was sent to make people, particularly white America, uncomfortable. Not an excuse easily digestive show. He was reclaiming the idea of black male identity on a white stage. He did that tenfold. In the face of Uncle Sam, in the face of the sitting president who attempted to use black men to divide our race, he was mildly successful in that. Kendrick addressed this with only subtle gesture of someone who thinks before he speaks. I appreciate a show that required me to focus in and peel back what was being done. He told you that the revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. He mentioned that. Sorry, he meant that. Y'all, again, this is in times like this, with so much going politically and with black people, Americans in general being under attack, not to sound doom and gloom, but we are literally going to start losing things in this country. Some people are put here as artists to speak to the masses and to spread a message. Some people's purpose is to challenge status quo and to get you thinking and to communicate using their gifts. Everybody got a gift. Everybody has a job. In times like this, everyone has a job. If you don't know your job, you can find it. Sometimes your job is just patting people on the back and being cheerleaders and telling people to keep going. But in Kendrick Lamar's case, his job, like Nina Simone said, is of an artist is to what? Is to reflect the times. I see why Kendrick has a Pulitzer Prize. Again, I'm sure it was a team effort in this, but to take this opportunity when people use it to promote something, And people use it as like that badge of honor, like, yeah, I finally made it. And to do this is art. This is it. This is what we talking about. This is it. Y'all, I'm so moved. I'm moved by the thoughtfulness of it. I'm moved by the bravery and the courage, because everybody be at home talking about what they would do and what they think they would do. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't do shit. It You do not know how hard it is to do something with the pressure of big business and big corporation and big politics on your back looking at you. This takes bravery out of this world to do. And I say this as somebody, I don't know if I would have the bravery to do something like that, child. I think I'm gonna do it, but hey, I don't know. You don't know what it's like when somebody is breathing down your neck. So to take this risk and to do this and to know that this gonna start discourse conversation. We got black people who don't agree, who didn't like it. Some black people were like, explain it to me because I don't get it. You have some black people who like, I got everything and I loved it. Y'all, this is what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to start a conversation and it's supposed to call us to action. I feel like what he was saying to us is we need to move. We need to do something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm so inspired. Y'all, y'all, this is art. Oh, this is art. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. And they was jamming. And he was jamming. Okay? Pants was fitting, leather jacket with glory on the front, leathering, chaining. He came out there with a regular fly ass outfit and rapped his ass off. Yeah, okay, I loved it. We should all aspire to make stuff that moves us, whatever your talent is, even if it's not a creative talent, even if it's just raising your damn kids. Raise their asses. Raise them. Y'all raise them up. Raise them up. I feel like, though, after this, too, with all the think pieces and him communicating to us on this stage, we need some type of like, y'all, we need to bring the defender back. We need to bring back the pits, like all of them post Reconstruction and Jim Crow black newspapers. We need something like that. We got to find a way to communicate and get on one page. Because one thing that was getting on my nerves is us having to talk about this on social media and people who was chiming in with opinions that we do not care about. I do not care what you got to say, Connor. I do not care. We need a newspaper. Somebody bring back the Defender. Call up the family of the man who started the Chicago Defender and fire up the newsletter. We need a news, something. God, we got to get some, child. Y'all, I loved it. What did you all think? Okay. What did you all think? Did you watch it? Did you understand what was happening while it was happening? Have you looked at all the think pieces? Was it just not your thing? Some people said they didn't like the album GNX. So I would say, in order to really be jamming to this, you could get the messaging. But if you ain't like GNX, I can see how people be like, okay. Personally, that album jamming. Peekaboo is my song. If he would have hit that boom, the boom bop bing, like listen, bing bop boom 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 bop bam, y'all, he would have been over for me. But what did y'all think? Let me know. You know where to find me. I'm at Cornelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about the blackest Super Bowl and Super Bowl halftime show in history, featuring the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, his all-women team, and Kendrick Lamar's performance, which was, in my opinion, a perfect example of highbrow black art and revolutionary work. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.